Welcome to Welcome to Life Rules, a podcast about why life rules and what your life rules are. My guest today in the black is Sabrina. In the denim is Gia. I'm going to give you both kind of an intro and then fill in the blanks that I miss. Okay.
Okay.
When we first met, I was like, oh, these two people are so tightly bonded as sisters that it feels impossible to be their friend because they both are ride or die together. And then the more we got to know each other, the more I was like, oh, you're both ride or die for anyone who you fuck with. So whether it's with me or other people, you are solid. You also came across as very chaotic, and I came across as probably like sad and like a bunch of angry red flags. But I think through all of us, what we really are is like loyal to a fault and like hungry for real connections.
I mean, I remember that differently because there was like there was a slug on the wall and then you were spitting on the slug.
Oh, I was trying to
and you were trying to get it high or like hydrated. I
thought the slug was thirsty, so I was like dropping water next to it.
Not water. He was spitting in its mouth. It was
No.
very BDSM. And I was like, is he going to fuck that thing? And then you looked up how they fuck.
Yeah, they
I looked up how
spiral
they
fuck.
fuck.
They
They
spiral
spiral
fuck.
fuck.
It's really gross. It's like grosser than human sex.
It is, but also if it's all you know, I bet it feels amazing. If you're both slimy
I
and
do
long
that.
and you wrap together, you do that?
Do you not do that?
With my no.
You're doing it wrong.
Don't you think it would feel good to like wrap up in a slimy?
No, don't touch me. It's funny that you said the thing about like just human like looking for connections, because that's one of mine.
It is.
It
well,
is
let's
one
get
of
to him
mine.
in a second. Let's get to
That's
know
what
you
I was
a
like,
bit.
but it's true, and I think it's interesting because we basically can shine like it's like we understand what the other person's doing from like across the room or across the world. But like if you are if you don't have siblings or if you're not in connection with your sibling, I find that a lot of people enjoy our presence because it's something that they always wanted or that they've already had and they don't have with them.
Yeah, agreed. Well, like I know you come from a big Italian family. How many brothers and sisters total, including you two?
There's six.
Six.
Altogether.
One mom, one dad, or
Yeah.
steps too.
We
Yeah.
have
One mom,
four
one dad?
dads and four moms. And they all fucked at the
that's-
same
we don't even know
time.
which ones are
You're
the
a
real
Coachella
ones.
lineup. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Right. The mamas and the papas. That's what they call
Are you
us.
close? Have you and your siblings always been that close, or is it you two specifically who are like bonded at
Sabrina
the
and
hip?
I like bonded through the Vietnam of our childhood. We're like
Kind
old
of.
ward buddies.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
because my mom used to be young and strong and hot. And if you're hot, people will just watch you beat your children in the streets
wow,
and just
she
keep
left out
walking.
a key
Yeah.
part. Mentally ill too. So.
Yes, but you know, that's I guess I didn't say crazy, but I guess if you're beating your kids in the street, you are kind of crazy. One time I remember we were at a department store and Gia and our brother Dominic were swinging, you know, those circular racks?
Yeah.
They were swinging on them like to like gymnasts.
Real
What
fun.
else
And
is
they
they for?
Knocked the whole fucking thing over, and my mom was beating them and making them put the clothes back on the rack. And this man came, he was a huge man in a cowboy hat. I'll never forget it. And he was like, you shouldn't treat those kids like that.
He said something to her, and I do remember.
We were
looking
all
at
like,
it, no.
just don't
Well,
stay
'cause
away.
I was on the floor with Dominic, and like
Crying,
my mom was
crying.
screaming at me, and then I looked at the guy, and I was like, "Mister, if you don't get away,
It's gonna be bad
You
for
need
all
to
of
get
us.
away.
I can't even help them.
she's gonna beat us all."
That's when we do the cut scene and he's flying over 6 racks like Will Smith being thrown out of the Fresh Prince mansion.
Dude, she just looked at him and was like, get the fuck out of here.
I
And he
thought
was
these
like,
were
oh, it's
cool.
hot and scary.
I'm no longer into the glasses.
Sorry to hear. They look great.
Do you want to wear them?
No.
Okay.
I don't like sunglasses on me because I don't like my ears. I've been self-conscious of my ears my whole life because
I got
my
these
head
from the
finally
sex
grew.
trade.
I'm being vulnerable,
I'm sorry.
and you are not listening. It's very rude.
Is it okay if I put my feet on here?
Yeah, by all means.
Or do you have sex with your friends on this couch?
I've never had sex here. I don't think I ever would. I will say though, producer Mark has turned this place into
Mark, did you have sex in here?
I love that we waited for an answer. All of us.
silence isn't no.
Yeah, silence is golden.
Yeah.
Hey.
Golden shower.
Do you think anyone that you know has had sex in here?
No, I don't.
All right.
I don't. Anyway, yeah, keep the glasses off for now. You can smoke that, but also YouTube will take down the video.
I won't.
So can you hold off for 50 minutes?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Even though all of us do, I think that's, oh yeah, when I was saving that slug's life, it was because we were all getting high at Comedy Store together.
Yeah.
That's why we started hanging out. Yeah, weed
It's
brings
true.
everyone
We all
together.
ended up on the smoking patio, and then we were like, huh.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We're all smoking the same amount of too much weed. How are you doing?
Yeah, but both of you, can we talk about the fact that you only smoke weed? Is that allowed on this pod?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because
I mean,
your legacies have preceded you. And
Oh.
I'm so glad to know you. We've talked at diners over this, but I'm so glad to have met you all now. And I'm so glad you all met me now in my life and not
Yeah.
5 years ago.
I always say that to people though, because I'm like,
Like
look,
10.
sometimes I
10?
feel like the
Yeah.
universe kept me away from certain people until after I stopped drinking. Because I wasn't, I mean, like, yes, I love to fucking drink. I love to drink more than I love Gia. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Like, it's like way up there for me. I'm like, I'm a god. But also like, I just couldn't get anything done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was like, if there was a keg here, I'd be, of course, we're all going to do a keg stand. And it's like, you're 40 years old, lady. You don't need to do a
I
fucking keg
just want to
stand.
go on record as saying that
Ooh, she's
she
mad.
quit drinking, but she can't quit me. So. Does
Yeah,
she
well,
love
guess
alcohol
what? You don't
more than
make
she
my
loves
life
me?
worse.
Probably not.
You don't make my life worse.
No, I don't. Sometimes.
So I don't have to quit you because you got help. No,
Oh, yeah, because you got sober after Sabrina.
Yeah.
she at first she was like, I'm just gonna pick up where you left off, and there's about
I was
three.
like, you can't stop me, and I'm gonna go with John Schoen, and we're gonna do cocaine. And then I was like, no, man, that was weird. And I stole someone's jacket, and then I recently got rid of the jacket. It was a snow jacket, and I never wore it. And I don't
Anyways,
know
party
why I
stories,
ended up
party
with it.
stories. But yeah, we have I'm like a party relic in LA. You know
Yes,
what
you
I
are.
mean? Like
Legendary party. Girl.
Seriously.
it is.
I don't know how
well,
many stories you want to share on here, but if you want to share all of them,
I mean,
I am here for it. Because
I-
that is kind of another reason why life does rule. Some of those stories are worth having, I think.
Well, I think that like you. Also, I think this is one of the things on my list. Like,
Okay.
kind of youth is for the young. Like, be young when you can.
Well, let's start. Let's
Okay.
start with why life rules. Be young when you wrote down be young when you're young.
I mean, I thought about it, but I don't know if it's on here.
Yeah,
don't
be
remember.
young when you're young.
Yeah, be young when you're young. I think that's
It's a good
one
life
of the
rule.
most important things that we don't teach people. Because, like, to me, when I was partying, nothing was more pathetic than somebody who was like 38 years old and they made it and they're like, I'm going to party now. I'm like, I'm going to party when I'm young, where I can wake up in the morning and do more drugs and drink even harder than the day before until I'm barfing wood chips because I'm so fucking dehydrated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was. People would be like, I don't want to drink this morning. Like, well, we have to. Get the fuck up.
I barfed a log cabin.
A
before.
lot of
Have you?
barf.
A
Yeah.
whole log cabin?
You know, it comes out in like weird wood logs, and you're like, ugh, ugh.
That's when you know you're like, I'm not drinking any water. It's
Yeah.
pure alcohol is running this business here.
Damn. But also, you don't want to be that person who is in their like 50s and partying hard still or newly.
Well,
like that's
the
fucking-
newly partying truly, like, I was a person that would like rent a bartender at a fucking club for $1,500, $2,500.
No shit.
I don't
Well, in
believe.
2001, Sabrina and I were in a car accident.
And I made all this money. I partied most of it away, but I made all this money,
Oh,
and
that's
I would
when
just
you broke your neck.
Yeah. So I took all the money and I just partied with it. I would just be like, fuck this place. Let's just go to the Mondrian right now. They can't stop us if we get a fucking room. I'll call up like 10 drug dealers. We'll all just take over this whole area and it'll be a fucking nightmare for them. It will be a nightmare for them. I will get escorted out of this hotel at the end. I was like a one-woman Beastie Boy where Gia was like my hype person full time.
Damn.
Yeah.
How that sounds real fun for everyone.
We have been kicked
On
out
the
of
inside.
Ian Schrager
I've been
Hotel.
86.
Yeah. A whole hotel was like,
I
you
had a
can't do that.
meltdown.
Get the fuck out
Oh,
of here.
shit.
Yeah, I was smoking in elevators and putting cigarettes out, and I met the
When
like,
she says putting cigarettes out, she means like on the fucking wall. Just like
I was
having
really
a
drunk.
manager talk down to her.
Chad
and she was
Michael
like,
Michaels, that son of
Yeah,
a bitch,
fuck him.
kicked me out. But also, I had met I met whoever was in the penthouse, and he was like, "You're my favorite person in the whole hotel," and I was like, "That's great." And then so they kept sending security to the upstairs, and I was just like slamming the door in their face, and I'm like, "Not in the penthouse, god damn it!"
This is awesome.
But that's the kind of partying we did. You know what I mean? We would just show up to places and be like, we're the best time you've ever had.
Hell yes.
And
Wait, why'd you stop? I mean, obviously health, but like, was it the car accident that broke your neck? Were you?
I didn't
or no,
drink
'cause you
before.
spent all
It
the
was
money.
the opposite. I was really a nerd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just like didn't really want to deal with people. Also, one of my things, like, the human horror of having to go out into the world and meet people. But like, because I don't like dealing with people, I'm like, just run divergence. I don't want to meet this new person.
I hear you.
But also, when it's bad, it's just like, why God? But
I
when
started
it's
partying
great,
too late.
Well, I didn't start partying until I was like 23,
How old
but
were
you're
you?
later than I am.
Yeah, because my hockey career was so important to me that as soon as I like had my hip surgery and kind
Here's
of
the thing, you don't
retired,
need-
then all of a sudden I was like, oh, now I can like start partying and drinking and stuff. So it wasn't until like I was 25, 26.
That's a good time
Are
to
those
start.
all your teeth?
They are.
Okay,
Congrats.
Yeah. But also, like, I feel like then it went on way too long because of that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's my thing. I think it needs to be, if you're gonna really party, you have to just be aware that it needs to be 10. If you're like under 18 and you're listening to this, it needs to be 10 years door to door, wherever you start. Like whatever the time frame. If you start at 14, you're done at 24.
I
But
love
if
that.
you start at 24, 25, 35 is
You
it.
can't
You're
quit
done.
till you're 35.
Yeah, it's it. Wake up! It's time to start drinking. But I mean, like, if you're really gonna party, it can't be longer than that. It starts to be too hard.
Yeah.
I think on the body. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, it's like my body is an old wooden ship, and it's been through fucking hell. I'm like, pirates got it. You have no idea.
Yeah, but
what
she's
it's been
also
through.
very against Brian Johnson and him like sucking his child's blood or whatever.
The guy
to
that's
be-
living
yeah.
forever. The guy's like, I'm 45, but I'm gonna
He has a 32-year-old cock.
become 32
I
years
think
old
he does.
in my body.
Have you seen it?
I haven't, but I'd like to because I don't know
Would
what that
you?
means. I'd like
He
to know what
looks
32-year-old
like
cock means.
65 years old.
I'll
though.
tell you what one looks like.
Gia worked in hospice. She does know what a
I know what a
decrepit-
really old penis looks like.
Yeah, she
What
knows
does
what
an
a
old one
decrepit
look like?
penis looks like.
It's horrible. It depends how it is. Like, are you an old person that like is moving around, or am I changing your diaper?
I have to imagine either way, it's just kind of like small
Tell you
and
what.
shriveled.
Vagina in a diaper, supple, wet, perfect. Enjoys the climate, the climate of the diaper.
Yeah. What about the
Um,
balls? What about the long balls of a man?
The penis doesn't do well.
Yeah.
Everything sticks together, and you're like, where is it going?
bet.
Is it on the top or is that the bottom?
That's why you got into hospice?
Yeah, I want to see old dick. Legal old dick.
And that was also a name of a client, Old Dick.
legal old dick. This is why I got into it. I'm a caring person.
Well, but you do both have huge hearts. As fun and as like you, I don't know if it's a front or just who you are through and through, but like that is a hard fucking job. And like y'all have some of the biggest hearts I've ever met, which is why I wanted to have you on this podcast. So like that, I don't know why you would choose something like that. That's not for me, but I am judging it hard because it sounds so difficult that I don't know how you have space for it.
I think because in my life I was I had a lot of care to give people, but they were like, why are you giving this to me? It's a little too much. And I was like, well, I can find jobs that are like that where I can exercise that sort of like
Yeah.
without feeling I'm overwhelming people with my love.
Because they need it and they want it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really truly getting rid of survival of the fittest. And you're just kind of like, I do everything for you because otherwise you would be dead.
Okay, so
Damn.
Gia's really codependent.
Are you?
That's
I'm learning that I am too.
I used to be really, really codependent. I've gone to so much therapy and done so much stuff.
I'm
So I'm
so
really
jealous.
independent in certain areas, but like I do like to partner up.
Let's be
Yeah.
honest, the core of the codependency is with each other. Because our childhood was like Vietnam. And not just because of my mom beating the shit out of us. Like, the guy next door took us hostage when we were kids. And then, like, the guy across...
We were just hostages.
We were hostages of his. He didn't take us anywhere. We were hostages in the house. It's just like a very long story.
It's a neighbor named
It's a-
Tom.
Yeah. But then 6
Tom and
months
Nancy.
later, the guy across the street murder-suicided
Tom
his
was
wife
so
in the
fucking
front
hot.
window when we were playing in the front yard. So it is like this idea of things that I didn't think were a big deal at the time. And then like, as I started having nervous breakdowns, it was like, you know what? I think this happened when I was a kid. And then my mom would be like this long pause if you brought it up to her. She did about maybe like a year ago be like, I don't know why I just didn't make us leave the house. Initially when Tom was going crazy, we heard him in our bedroom window screaming at his wife. Like he had a man cave. What that was his garage, and his garage. We grew up in the San Fernando Valley where it's like those tract homes that all are like
I know what
ass
you're
up to
talking
each
about.
other.
Yeah.
So our bedroom window was at his garage door, and we heard him just tell his wife that he hated her and he was going to kill himself. So like we were never allowed to get out of bed once we got in bed, and Gia was like, I really feel like we can
Good
get out
enough
of bed.
reason to get out of bed.
Yeah.
So you
Old
know,
hot Tom from next door snapping on Nancy.
Yep.
Well, we gotta tell moms about it because I'm pretty sure it's about her flirting with him.
Oh,
well, and there's so much more to it. He was an
Well,
alcoholic.
well, here's the thing. Decades and decades and decades and decades later, Nancy, old 75-year-old Nancy, still got it in her, decided to contact Sabrina via Facebook. And
She
sent
did
her
Facebook
long
Messenger,
pages and pages
and
and
it-
pages
it
and
was
pages,
really
and
the
I'm sure it's about my
very
mom.
long-
I'm sure it's about my my mom. I'm sure it's about my mom.
Here's the thing. It's a very long message, but I read like one sentence into it and all I responded was like, you're such a fucking old bitch that you're contacting me over beef with my mom. I hope you die. You know what I mean? Like, just like, I am.
That's your mom.
She's
Well,
hot. She was
also,
hot.
my mom
Yeah.
is probably wrong, but like, don't triangulate with me.
Yeah,
Get fucked,
that's a good
lady.
life rule. Do not
Like,
triangulate.
No,
Yeah, that is a
I mean,
good
if
one.
I'm going to
For real.
triangulate, you're fucked because I'm actually really good at it. But
Oh,
I
you-
try not to,
You're not
and I try
supposed
not
to.
to live a life of
Don't
that.
listen to her evil mind. You're not supposed to drink.
You're not supposed to, but
That's
yeah.
what my mom
The
does.
only time it's
It
okay,
is hard.
Yeah.
because I heard this from my therapist, is when your therapist does it to someone else's therapist and they can triangulate. Because I don't know why they can do it, but we can't.
because they have your best interest in mind, hopefully.
Well, don't I?
no.
no,
No.
no,
No.
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 Okay, fine.
Do you want to say anything more about the hostage situation or the murder-suicide, or
Here-
should we move on to another life rule?
Just be
There's so
careful
much
which
to
man
it.
you couple up with, because maybe he might snap.
There's so much to it, but I think it gives some credence for like why we are the way that we are. We
Yeah.
have been through some shit. And plus like just regular crazy shit where we'd have to look at each other and be like, "Oh, there's guns
I
here."
don't know.
Yeah.
Our souls made a contract to come into this reality in a vortex of nightmares, and we were like, "Yeah, we can handle it."
I mean,
And then
even being
sometimes
alive
I'm
at
like,
this time.
Can I? This is pretty.
You know what I mean? For the decision for all of us to just be here right now where all this modern it's going so fast, all the weird things that are happening. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, we made weird decisions to be here for reasons I'm not clear on. But yeah, I think it just gives credence to like why the connection's so intense. And we never, like, this is our hometown. Like,
Yeah.
we're like those football players who like, you know, no. Don't eat your meat stick into the microphone, you fucking fucknut. She will. And I'm like, no, don't.
I was gonna ask about the beef stick. I really was.
But why are you?
I don't know.
I saw Mike's eyes get all big.
Yeah, I was like,
Um,
she gonna eat that beef stick?
Dude, this is what you can tell I'm a producer. I was like, stop. Don't you dare
Or
eat
she's
that into the
just a
microphone.
horribly abusive sister. Either way.
I want to go to another life rule.
Okay.
And I should also preface this for everyone who already knows your personalities. Sabrina wrote down 3 on a note card, underlining things with perfect handwriting. Gia said, they're all in my head, and then gave me 2. One of which was just the words, no man-made lakes.
That actually is a really smart one. So it's
All right,
probably
well,
best
let's
one
go
on
off.
there.
Why, of the 2 that you brought inside your head, why no
There's
man-made lakes?
another one, but it's not really a rule more than it is just like something I'm unhappy with.
Okay, well, why
Okay,
no
so
man?
first, no man-made lakes, stagnant water. Like you would never just jump into some stagnant water, and I feel like that's where all the brainworms are. And like I'm really afraid of like tiny things that are gonna fucking seep into my body and like eat my mind.
Like a bot fly?
Like, yeah, that stuff. Like I'm not worried about
The ones that swim in
alligators
your
or
urethra and like
any of the
clamp through?
holes.
Yeah,
in your
any
mind,
holes.
in your eyes, in your fucking
can't.
pee hole,
I can't.
all of it. But I'm sure I have worms inside of me right now.
Don't
And
say
you do
that.
too.
We've texted about it and I hate
Yeah.
the idea of it.
Because
It's
I eat
revolting.
oysters and I eat sushi.
Oh, you gotta stop. No.
I have
but
worms.
so
and
but
I recently got sick after I ate oysters.
did you really?
Yeah.
Even though
Did worms
all
come out?
over the news.
I don't know if they were in my body right now, but I'm pretty sure they are.
Look, even though all over the news are like, don't eat oysters, even if they say they're good oysters, they're probably bad oysters.
Yeah.
Then this bitch goes and eats oysters, and then she's like, I'm dying. And I'm like, yeah, probably because you ate oysters.
I did.
Dang, that's so gross. But no man-made lakes because of all the parasites in them.
Yeah,
that's
I
a good
don't
lesson,
like
actually.
any
That's a good life
stagnant
rule.
water. It has to have like fresh flowing water coming into the water source if I'm gonna like submerge my body in it.
So like there's growing up in St. Louis, there was a place called Ozarks and the lakes, and in Michigan, the 7 lakes. Those are okay because the lake has
Connected
like
to
things.
rivers and streams.
Yeah. So that stuff's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
fresh,
with it.
fresh. Like fresh water.
Not a
coming in.
pond.
Okay, no.
Big
Nowhere
Bear
where
is
ducks shit.
man-made. Yes.
No.
It's a lot of animals
Bellagio
pooping
fountain?
in.
Would you get in the Bellagio fountain?
No, absolutely not. That has hobo piss in it.
Okay.
That's disgusting.
All right.
Yeah,
Do
but
you
it
drink
smells
hobo
like
piss?
it smells like
Oh,
chlorine.
that's
though.
another one of my rules. Like if I'm in a very like serious situation and I have to drink urine to survive, I will drink that urine. And how do you feel about that?
She always brings this up. I refuse to drink my own pee in any form. I just
She
won't
doesn't
do it.
want to survive. Okay, that's
Yeah, I
what
don't
a
wanna
bad
survive.
life she's living.
I have been through so much that I'm like,
I will
I'm
feed
gonna
her
die.
my pee while she's sleeping.
That's so funny because your number one reason why life rules is it ends.
Yeah, it does.
So-
It does end. And I think that that's so important to consider. People sometimes want to argue with me about that, but I'm like, we're here for a finite amount of time. Like, you can spend most of it being like, my life is a bummer, or you can just figure it out and make it better. And there's certain things that we can't control, but how we enter situations and the interactions that we're having, we can. And like, I mostly want my interactions to be good, but if you're a fuckhead, I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna fucking eat you, and you'll never fucking forget me. I'll let you know exactly what's happening inside of your human head, your body, what your problem is. And then 10 years later, I'll get a DM about it on like Facebook or Instagram. They'll be like, do you remember me? You told me blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, no, I have fucking no idea that we're doing this.
Yeah.
But
So you don't mind dying? Are you scared to die?
No.
Are you scared to die?
No.
Whoa.
We've already
really?
done it. So
We've had near-death experiences.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that's the car accident.
Do you believe in past lives?
I believe in
soul contracts more than past
I
lives.
just believe in the
kind of.
concept that like it would be arrogant for me to think that I could figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's probably an infinite number of possibilities. And
Yeah.
I know I sort of remember it, but I don't remember.
Well, I'm asking on a selfish level because in the secret meetings that I'm going to that are adjacent to those other secret meetings that you might go to or have
Mhm.
gone to in the past,
Yeah.
a lot of people are talking about higher power and it's driving me crazy.
I just don't listen to that stuff. For me, it's just like practical advice is in there. I don't have to get sucked into
the minutia of the word.
right.
Oh God, thank you.
Yeah.
Like
Because I'm just like,
I went to Catholic school. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, did you really?
I've read the Bible inside and out. I'm a hard person to argue about that shit with because I'm like, they're fables.
Sabrina would read the Bible. I'm the one that told you that I did read the Bible, but I didn't.
No, she's making things up.
you're
She's like,
oh, the lamb,
it's
the lamb in there was
It's the Lamb
Leviticus
of God,
45.
and it takes away the sins of the world. I get it, and I'm feeling it. Okay,
I am Bible.
I am Bible. Jesus had great abs. I feel like crucifixion is good for the core.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
You know
That's
what I
true.
mean?
Let's do
The
it.
crucifixion workout is what we're selling you guys now. Please sign up for it. It's $25 a month.
He was super sexual up there, and we were all going through puberty and stuff, and he was just
He was-
hanging there with a loincloth on, and I was like, are we going to lick him or what?
Yeah, head
But-
tilted to the side,
Oh,
like Barry
babe.
Koenig, just
Hey,
looking
babe,
over.
just suck me off.
Slack jawed.
Or
No,
whatever Jesus would say in a really nice voice. He'd be like, just touch it.
But in terms of like that the God stuff, I
Yeah.
just take it with a grain of salt because some people need something very deathly to believe in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the hope of it. I didn't end up in recovery because I bottomed out. I was just like starting to think I wanted a better life.
Mm.
I wanted a new storyline, that's for sure. And I couldn't get a new storyline with how I was behaving, how I was.
What happened to all your fun friends, though?
Some of them, well, some died, and you know
Oh,
what
I'm
I
sorry.
mean? Like, it's okay. It's just what it is. It as you make different choices, it's like, interestingly enough, the people that I really liked eventually also were like, I can't keep this up either. So like, there's a whole crew of us that basically are like, well, it's 10 p.m. I have to go to sleep now. Otherwise, the brain will be on for too much, and I'll get into trouble.
Yeah, I did cocaine when it was cocaine and not fentanyl.
Yeah.
How was that cocaine?
Great.
Fine, because it was mostly meth.
Oh.
You know what I mean? It wasn't really cocaine.
Depends. One time, a
Here we
stripper, a porn star at like Paoli's, and that's a place on Ventura Boulevard where we'd go sing karaoke. And one time she invited us, me and this guy Mikey, who is probably just like a crazy narcissist. Oh my God, I hope he doesn't. Anyways, like we went over, she invited us back to her house, and then she offered me some cocaine that was definitely meth, and then I was like, oh damn, I need something for this meth, and then she gave me, I think, Xanax.
How was the night?
Weird.
Yeah.
He stayed, I didn't. She was like, want to watch a porn of me? And I was like, not really. And then I watched it. And then I was like,
That's so crazy.
I gotta go. And then so like I left and I went back to his house, and he had sex with these old ladies. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. You can have sex with these old porn stars. I don't care. And then I was at his house, and then his actual girlfriend came over, and I was like, this is kind of weird. And she was like, where's Mikey? And I'm like, look, we don't know. And then he rolled up in a fucking Hummer, and he jumped out, and I was like, things aren't well because your girlfriend is inside. And he's like, don't worry, I've been on meth all night. This is gonna go over pretty smooth. And I was like, I am not confident. And we were sitting in his living room, and I had made him a sandwich, and he kept trying to feed the sandwich to his girlfriend, but he was like also nodding out and not making sense because he was on meth. And like he had like dropped the sandwich out of his hand, and she was like sitting in his lap, and he was like falling asleep. And then the dog was eating the sandwich, so I leaned down and I picked up the sandwich and put it on the table so the dog wouldn't eat it. And then he like came to again, and then he grabbed the sandwich and he's like trying to force feed it to his girlfriend. And I'm like, that's the dog sandwich now, man. You've been asleep. And then like he was just waking up mid-story on stuff, just being like, remember Puerto Rico? And I'm like, I don't know, but your girlfriend knows something's up, dude.
Well, Gia's bearing the lead. The girlfriend was a Victoria's Secret angel.
No, she wasn't. That was Rain. And Rain was a fucking model prior to the Victoria's Secret angel that he dated. And then
I see.
that was a nightmare.
What kind of sandwich?
The sandwich was probably like a turkey.
Turkey and a little
Just a
mustard or something, right?
Plain old turkey
old white bread
sand to
something?
kind of get you back to reality when you've done too much crack.
Wow. Wow. When you say it like that, it sounds like Coke sucks.
That was meth.
Or meth. Sorry. Meth
Yeah,
sucks.
meth sucks. Coke is like, who can afford it?
Yeah, right? I don't know. LA, all I hear about is like the heyday of it. Every great action
Well,
movie from the
here's-
90s is all Coke. Like there's something to it. I'm sorry, but there's something
Well,
to it.
look, dude, yeah, we've done good Coke, but you get the good Coke from the Gay Mafia, or at least you did when
Oh, yeah.
I partied. If you're getting it from Hawaiian Dave, who is the guy that would be like, I'll get you some Coke, but it would always be meth, it's probably going to be methy. His name is Hawaiian Dave.
Yeah. I've probably done meth, but I didn't know it because I thought I was on Molly. But
That's a
do you know what I'm
similar
saying?
thing. Yeah,
but all of a
yeah,
sudden
yeah.
I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel the same.
I've done the opposite. I went to an after hours one night and they were like, here's some fucking cocaine. And then they were like, just kidding, it's Molly. And I was like, I have to go to my car and be weird by myself. And I hate you guys. Yeah.
I just picture you in a Mini Cooper
immediately-
just flipping
yeah.
out in this
It was
very
a
tiny
red
car.
Tiburon. Yeah, I think I slept in the car that night, just being like, it feels weird to touch myself. Where are the people? I don't know. And I ran away.
What do your brothers and sisters do now?
We
Are they
have-
all still here? Do you
Yeah.
all are you all like spend 7 fishes together and shit like that?
Yeah, we do the family thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
The
it's
Feast of San Gennaro. Get it right.
No,
I don't know.
The Feast of Seven
Sabrina,
Fishes.
Sabrina, I don't care. If she's going to give me a history lesson on Italian fucking... like,
I'm not giving you a
actually talking
history
about- okay.
lesson on
All right,
anything.
all right,
You're just
all right.
doing what you do. No, like we're all in this city together, but like there's usually one person that is like the person who's out in the family. That's the kind of sick family we have. So it'll be like, oh, we're all here except for X. And
Yeah.
then it'll be like, oh, why aren't they here? And it's like, oh.
Wait, that was another life rule. You're like guiding me. You're such a producer. Fuck you. Like I think I'm doing the interview, but really you're just like teeing yourself
She's
up to keep the
secretly
list
doing
going
her
along.
interview.
You're so good at this. It makes me sick. Oh, I liked this one a lot. Don't let anyone neg you.
Yeah, get fucked, buddy. Like you can always
That's a
tell when
wrap.
people are like giving you like the backhanded compliment. I don't want it. And I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is, I'm going to be like, why? Okay, but explain to me why. Ugh, men hate that because they're like, well, what I said was to be a cunt to you. So like, I can't explain it. Otherwise, you're going to know that I'm being a dick
Yeah.
and putting you down.
Truth. I think it just takes courage. The courage to like stick up for yourself and call those things out is sometimes very difficult.
Well,
You know what I mean? Because it's easier to just keep it pushing, let it slide, and have like amicableness so that like life can move forward. But
Right.
then you carry, I don't know, that's a lot of paper cuts that can build up, you know?
look, dude, the people who love me, and the people who hate me will see me and cross the fucking street. So you know what? I'm winning because if I don't like you and I don't have to deal with you and you are doing the work for me so that I don't have to have that interaction, perfect. We figured it out.
I guess that would be my last rule that's unwritten, is more about the like creating a positive interaction for me now. That's the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
Is not only to try and find a way to show my self-love, which is so hard because I like absolutely for some reason hate myself like everybody else in the world, but I want to be able to show that to people. I don't want to have to cross the street. I want to be like, okay, it can be okay, and we can show each other like love and kindness and positivity,
Yeah.
even with differences. So that's probably my last rule, but that's what I'm always working towards, like that interaction. I think that's what it's all about, really, is that connection that you have with somebody and
That
the
was-
interaction.
That was what you
Yeah.
all, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn. I think the difficult thing with that though is that it doesn't always have to be like either sexual or physical to make sure
No.
that love is there. That's a tricky one. You know what I mean? If you grow up and you're not held, like my mom didn't touch me at all.
Yeah, we're
And
the
so,
same.
you know what I mean? So like anything where I'm like, oh, you know what it means to be liked? It means like
Touching.
physical shit. Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute, you can just talk to someone? Hold on. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or be listened to.
Or be listened to. That's
Yeah.
bananas too.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's an interesting interesting conversation about like what love languages are, but like there's more information that there's more than just the 5. You know what I mean? Like I read this interesting book that there's like about 18 of them, and they're faucets of the same stuff, but the guy who originally came up with it, it's like a Jesus thing. You know what I mean? It's like Christian, hurry up and get married, but there's like lots of ways to connect with people, and they're not always romantic and they're not always sexual.
Right.
But like it's important to understand those, and also to understand the language so that when you are connecting with other people, you can connect with them what they're looking for.
Yeah.
I think what makes it easy a lot of the time is I prefer quality time. I love gifts. I'm never going to say no to a gift, but also our parents are gift people. They won't tell you that they love you. They'll buy you a car. You know what I mean? And when you're like, do you love me? And they're like, do you see your car? And it's like, I fucking hate that. That's like, you won't even respond.
I do love with money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But also quality time. Roll a fucking joint.
Just to
watch
hang
some
out.
bullshit.
You know what I mean? But like understanding what the other person's love language is. And I think that that's something that conversationally with friends that we should be doing, because it makes it easy to understand people. And like there's like, you know, acts of service and shit. There's like a whole bunch of them. I could look it up on my phone. But the reality is like understanding that stuff. It's like I'm a person. I'll take care of that for you.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to do that. I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
You know
I'll do
what I
the
mean?
dishes, that kind of a thing.
Whatever it is, the thing that you don't like a personal interaction. A lot of what I do is run point for people when they're like, I don't want to deal with that. And like, I'll have her do that for stuff for me too. I'll just be like, I'm not dealing with that person today. Go like, make sure that does not happen.
That's what's up.
Yeah. I think that's what we're not taught how to connect with people. So when you start to break it down, it's little things like that where you're just like, oh, that's why I like being around that person. They're fundamentally serving a purpose for my soul.
Yeah. That fucking rules. Damn, y'all are the best. I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, another one. Is there anything more to add, Sabrina, to the idea of a life rule like get sun every morning?
Well, I just think it's good for your body, and we always forget that because we have all these theoretical rules. But if you're really depressed, like when we do we share a best friend. Our best friend leaves every summer, and she has this like deck and a balcony. Summer house. And so we do summer house every year. We have like a house on the lake in Silver Lake, and we just like in a tube top, walking outside, just like
get some sun.
It's 9 a.m. time for sun.
I mean, I do try to sun my butthole, but she doesn't love it.
I actually don't want to.
Why?
Because I don't want to see her butthole. It
literally gets no sun all the time.
I know.
It's one of the only places that will never, because you also have to part to get the sun.
She told me that that's not true, and that I was getting plenty of sun on my butthole.
How?
Also, go to a fucking tanning salon and let the fucking
and what? Have them open?
Yes, actually, yes.
Hold it open with a clamp?
Just you know what? If you need a clamp to hold open your butthole, let's start a new podcast.
I don't know. Maybe you got heavy cheeks.
Butthole?
Yeah, maybe you have thick, heavy cheeks.
This sounds like it's a bit from the movie Saw. Then we bring the forceps out and the clamps for your butthole. I'm like,
you can't get the key. We rip your butthole.
I think, Mike, you found a way to make health weirder.
Yeah. We're like, get some sun, and you're like, clamp open your butthole.
Well, no. Fuck you. You're the one who said you sun your butthole and you're not allowed.
Yeah, you're supposed to. There's internet proof that it's good for your body.
Internet proof. You know what? Internet proof is the next name of our podcast. Internet proof.
There's internet proof. There is. I've seen
all of the promo photos are Gia's
memes.
Butthole, just like getting light on it. With
Is it a coincidence that the butthole kind of looks like a sun? I don't know.
Wow, great point.
Thank you.
Great point.
I think that's where all human life started.
Your Honor.
The Big Bang. Absolutely apart.
You're so dumb.
I don't know, but it does look like a sun, like a star, like the iris.
Yeah.
Or like the center of a black hole.
Is this a good time? Do you want to do a plug right now for The Bad Place, or should we hold off to the end?
Oh, God, yeah. You can always go to The Bad Place, which we don't say where it is, but you can find it in the link in my bio.
On your butthole.
And you can see my butthole there.
Great. Okay. Moving on. I don't want to neglect your life rules too.
Sure.
So sorry. Brainworms.
Yeah, brainworms. We talked about brainworms. We talked about the man-made lakes. We talked about I'm really afraid of the worm situation. And
okay, but I do have a real question
because
for
you've got me almost eating dog fucking dewormer. Like, because I went to your show, and then that guy talked about dog dewormer, and then the worm things, and then I'm just so concerned about the worm since then. I think maybe I might start eating dog dewormer. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like, we should all just eat some to
I think
chill
we really
out after
should.
the show.
Like, if we're going to have fluoride in the water, we should have a little bit of dewormer and a multivitamin.
I like fluoride in my water, no worms in my butthole. How do I make that happen?
Wow, I wish this was over now because I feel like you can't really top that. And no worms in my butthole. That being said, my friend's kid got worms and it kept coming back. It was horrible.
God.
You
And she
get
would
rid of the
call me,
kid.
and all
Yes.
she would do is be like, "The worms are back," and hang up. And it's like, ugh.
I had a cat that had worms once, and our emotional bond died that day.
I bet.
I saw a worm in its butthole.
Nope.
It was trying to lay on my face and stuff, and I was like, I cannot get worms in my eyes.
Are you
Okay?
both on TikTok? No?
I have
Okay.
a TikTok.
How do you
I have
feel
a
about like
TikTok.
pimple popping? And
I'm totally cool with that.
You're okay with that?
I just don't want worms coming out of my cat's butthole on my
Yeah.
face.
Okay. I am going to have to put a warning before this one, for sure.
Because the cat butthole stuff?
Just like, hey guys, we're going to talk about worms.
Are you
Probably
guys
every
as afraid
6.5
of worms?
minutes.
I don't, you know what?
So
Here-
important to me. that
Gia,
people
what you're
know.
doing is telling your enemies how to get you by giving you worms.
Ugh.
Yeah. Wait, do you have any reasons why life rules? Like why you love life?
Why
Does
I
anything-
love life?
Yeah, does anything come to mind?
I mean, like, I think life is weird and beautiful, and I think it's supposed to be painful. So those like wonderfully wonderful parts like shine even brighter. So I welcome all of it, even though like I think I grew up mostly just being told not to feel anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But for
Mhm.
some reason, I just never shut it off. I
Yeah.
do feel immensely.
You do.
And yeah, I've had to learn to control that because when you open the floodgates, it's just like, damn, all of this stuff's happening. I followed someone to Goleta and then wrote I'd kill them on their fucking window.
Oh,
I mean,
fuck.
you know, but I mean,
She's
he
the hot
deserved
crazy
it.
girl. You know what I mean? That's hot crazy girl theory.
He deserved
One
it.
of the best parts of being alive is being hot and crazy. Yay!
I don't think I said I'd kill him. I think I said I hate you. He
Oh,
said he
that's
would
good.
kill me.
Oh.
It's
The
So-
circle of
sounds
life,
healthy.
man. It's the
Yeah.
circle of life.
That's so wild. That's so wild. But that's good. You as like an open floodgate of emotion also means that your feelings probably get hurt a lot, and it might not always be warranted for the amount of hurt that they get.
I think that I had my feelings hurt so much by like my main caregiver that my feelings don't get hurt that much. I don't put myself out there to get them hurt. Like,
Wow.
so I like, I avoid vulnerability really. That's what like the joking stuff is.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So I don't want to get too close.
That's true though, because you haven't put me on blast, but I've seen you put other people on blast for like you just don't have time for your feelings to be hurt, so you just clap back right away to keep it
Yeah.
guarded.
I mean, it just depends. Like, I have boundaries with people. If I think that you are mentally capable enough to have a adult conversation about the way that I feel, then I will sit you down and be like, here's what you did, and here's what hurt me. But if I feel like you're going to internalize that or make it about you or make it something that it's really not, I won't take the time to tell you because I'm like, you can't handle it, and I can't force you to be where I'm at. Like,
Mhm.
you have some growing to do or whatever it is. We're just not on the same path as each other. And that's totally cool. But I'm not going to put myself in harm's way because like you don't know how to treat people yet. Like, I just am not. So yeah, I will cut you off.
I would say the
Damn.
big difference
That's
is
what's
that we used to just drag those people to hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't
And
want to
now
be
we're
mean
just
to
like-
them.
Vengeance feels great.
Well, but now it's nice to just be like, thank you for showing me who you are. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I'm not interested
And
in
like,
it.
there is a reason. I don't just cut people off. There's a serious reason. If you think there's a reason, there was.
Yeah.
Okay.
To camera. Real nice. I bet Mark nailed that.
There was. If I didn't tell you, it's because I don't think you were capable of hearing it. And it wouldn't have brought anything positive to the.
Yeah. Some people just aren't there, even remotely. And you just have to be like, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Mm. You also wrote one of my reasons life rules. It's a personal one, and I'm so glad you wrote it.
What is it?
Fucking coffee.
Yeah. I'm just
Oh.
like, I briefly dated this guy who was a nut, but he told me that when he can't sleep, before he goes to bed, he'll be like, in the morning, I can wake up and have coffee.
That's so
And
nice.
Yeah, so sometimes now I'm like, gotta go to bed so I can wake up and do coffee.
Heck yeah. Do you have a little ritual? Like, do you have a press? Like, I'm on an instant tip right now. Trader Joe's instant coffee with a little electric kettle. And it's so strong, and I love it so much. Like instant coffee is my shit.
Mm.
I
She
love
lived
it.
in Argentina for a while.
Mhm.
Did you
she
really?
does-
Yeah. They make shake
Shake
coffee.
coffee.
What is shake?
That's
Yeah,
what
it's
those-
instant
those-
coffee, and they just put like a little tiny bit of water in there, and then they put sugar, or if you can't have sugar, you can put like a stevia or whatever, and then you get the little. Now
Whipper.
they do it with just a spoon, and then go crazy like you're jerking
Ooh,
off a
froth.
fucking coffee god. Now, you don't have to do that. It's 2024. You can get the little frother and then and it's still like a dick motion, but you go in there, it makes this foam. Then you pour in like
lots of people do this now, but Gia's done it the archaic way. She'll take a spoon out like the
Whip it up.
Argentinians.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Have her whip your coffee someday.
Do you want shake coffee? I'll get you shake coffee.
Yeah,
Because
whip my
they call
coffee.
it shake. Like what you're using the instant
that's
coffee,
just
like
what
those little
Miguel
flakes
called
or
it.
whatever. They call it shake coffee.
Yeah.
I don't know why he called it that. You can't really rely on
It's translation.
Argentinians.
You know what I mean?
anyone. Anyone. They'll
What
tell
kind
you
of coffee
something
do you
great.
fuck with, Sabrina?
I have an espresso, so I just use that. But also,
Why do you like a tiny cup? I'm gonna come for your coffee a little
Come
bit.
for her.
I just run the thing twice, and then I make a big cup of it. It's just stronger.
Oh, nice. Okay. I hate
but
a tiny cup.
I have a Dunkin' across the street, and plenty of people buy me Dunkin' gift cards. So, like, if I'm having like a day where I can't leave the house, I'll just order the coffee on the app through the gift card and be like, I am going to leave the house today. I am going to Dunkin'. So it's like there's little things you can do. It's like forcing myself to get sun, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, if I order this coffee now, I'll be outside by 8:45 in the morning.
What's
I
your
like
Dunkin' order?
coffee, but I can't drink it like that. I have a sensitive stomach.
Do you?
Yeah.
It's probably the worms.
Yeah, I know. That's what I want to talk about. The worms.
What's your coffee order at Dunkin'? I just go straight black coffee.
I mean, there's levels. If it's from like April to October, November,
I love this.
I'm getting iced
Seasonal-
lattes,
seasonal
with,
coffees with Sabrina.
with almond milk and just Splenda or stevia, whatever they have. If it's cold, I may just do black coffee and then come back to my apartment and put the non-dairy creamer that's almond that has no sugar and no flavors. I don't want that fucking shit. I want half and half with no dairy in it, plain. And I'll walk right back into my house and then go back out for my fucking walk to make that work. Or as a really neurotic, crazy person, sometimes I'll put it in a different Dunkin' cup, like they're plastic, like iced cups.
That's
and
crazy.
then pour it in and then put that in their trash. Just a circle of fucking trash is what I am.
No,
Life
she
rules.
said that she wasn't a circle of trash. She told me this specifically. She said, my body's not a recycling center and I'm not going to drink my own pee.
That's because it's a circle of trash. You got to get rid of this stuff. You can't put it back in.
Just saying, you could, if it's an emergency, you drink your pee.
No, I don't.
You should.
No, I don't.
You should. Just saying. I'm not, it's not for coffee for me. Life rules. I like orgasms. And then recently I said something like, of course you jerk off in your car. And it was brought up to Sabrina. And she goes,
It
what
was
am I,
not- no.
on a road trip? What am I moving across country? And I have to do this.
I'm going to put a second warning for anyone listening with headphones who's going to go deaf from this. Just
You know
yelling
how close,
orgasm.
You know how close he told me to put this to my mouth? I was like, sir, are you sure?
We're just talking normal now. We haven't gotten to the screaming
Wait, do you
part.
really? Is one of the reasons life rules because of
Yes,
orgasms?
100%.
Yeah.
I live for them.
Also,
I
female-
use them. I don't understand. For me, in my mind, like when I have cramps, I do it. Done. Gone.
Yeah,
Cured.
boom.
What's up? Like, do I have sex toys all over my car? Yeah. Even when I was younger. One time, my dad cleaned out my car and he found a fucking huge dildo in it. And then he found its box and he put it back in its box. Like, I was like, did you clean my dildo, Dad? Like, why?
No
and then one time,
boundaries.
my mom went through my room and she found my dildo and then she threw it in the trash.
Oh,
Two
She's like, no
different parents.
pleasure for you.
You
My
know
dad
what
was
I
like,
mean?
touch your vagina, but do it clean.
wow. The female orgasm's crazy because it can be like dudes are not as cool as chicks because
You know what?
like
You can just stop there. That's fine. We're
yeah,
done.
right. Well, that's a
End
wrap.
of the
up.
podcast. Woo! That's
No,
your
I
clip and
actually have a
everything.
gripe about this, and I'm really glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Because, like, fine, yeah, chicks are cooler than dudes because we can have a lot of orgasms. But what I'm saying is that, like, how come it's not a more painful process for you to create sperm? Like, there should be a pain involved where you're like, oh, I gotta create my cum today.
Okay, so like because you're talking about having a
Yeah,
period.
that cramps and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a painful process. So I'm like, how come it doesn't hurt for you guys more? Because I think it probably should.
My balls are just always aching
Yeah,
because
you're like,
I'm
oh, created so much cum today, it hurts.
Stupid.
we
You know
both
what?
have cramps. We have hot packs.
Yeah.
Just yeah. I think
you're
that's
like
fair.
Best
icing
friends.
it and stuff. You're like, oh, I hate it when my body has to create new people. You know? And I feel the same way.
That's awesome. I'm about it.
That was one of my life
okay.
rules. I don't even know because I was like, I really want to talk about that. And I know I'll find a way.
Last one.
Okay.
about why life rules. Sabrina wrote, the double-edged sword of meeting new people.
Yeah.
When you connect, it's amazing. And when you don't, it's like, why? We
Well,
kind of hit it a little
kind
bit.
of, but when I say why, there's like, why didn't we? But also it's like, why did I have to go through that? You know what I mean? I'm not desperate
Yeah.
to like want to meet new people. I'm from here. It is like knowing the two kids from high school, like we never left our hometown kind of deal. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good. There's tons of people. Everybody ever fucked is in this city. You know what I mean? Pretty much. So it's like, I don't really need to add any newbies. Like I just know that all the old bees are psychos. So it's like, oh, I'm going to have to meet new people, which is horrible. But then it is not horrible when it's like, you know, when you meet somebody who's going to spit on a slug right in front of you and be like, oh, what's happening over here? You know what I mean? It's just like so weird.
Didn't spit, just poured a little
You
water
did.
next
No,
to
you
it so it
spit.
could.
No, it was
You're
a long
such a
drip of
liar.
spit, dude. You definitely did
Why
spit.
are you lying about the sexual encounter you had with the slug?
I just remember it
You
differently.
matched DNA with it.
You
Did I?
did, yeah. You guys swirled together, like all sorts of weird.
Oh, did you look in the Comedy Store and I was spitting with a slug
Yeah.
wrapped around
Yeah.
me?
How
Upside
did you
down.
know?
I was like,
She
this is
recorded it. It's on her
beautiful,
phone.
but also I wish he had more clothes on.
That was a Cirque du Soleil kind of moment.
Yes.
100%. It was gorgeous. And I am having its babies. So thank you very much.
I can
Through the belly button.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So wait. You've had sex with everybody in the city?
Not
Where were we?
not everybody in the city, but everybody I've ever had sex with
Is in the city.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
totally.
I've always lived here. For the most part, I've done most everything here. So it is an interesting, like, when you think it from my perspective, at least, it's like you can end up weird like she and I in this kind of city, like loud
end up
and
weird.
weird.
I was born weird.
Well, we're allowed to be. A lot of people have it beaten out of them because they have to. They have
And
this
my mother
desire
tried.
to fit in.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to kind of stand out enough in LA where like in most rooms where I am doing whatever it is that I'm doing, there's always one guy that's been in charge. It's like, stop. I want to see what it does. I want to see what she does. What level does this go
Let
to?
it explode.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And that's how I've become what I am. There's always one person that's like really interested in it. And people I think move here because they're like, "Oh, I can get famous." But I'm like, it's more nuanced than that. You can't just be attractive or kind of talented. You're like putting a show on constantly in order to meet the people to get where you need to go. And it's exhausting. But also it's like if that's who you are, if it's genuine, then it's not a job.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like if you can be yourself and do it, then you're nailing it. And that's the part that's confusing for people because like it's exhausting for me to be in public. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're pretending. That's a job. It's hard. Be more authentic, but also as the more authentic you get, the more connections you make, and the easier it is to like
attract somebody that's for you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the important stuff. I guess authenticity.
That's a big relationship thing.
Yeah. Authenticity is probably something that should be on the list too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you can smell it out.
Well, but if you want, like, really, you can't connect with people unless you're being authentic. Because eventually, it's like when you date somebody at 3 months, you know when things are red flags everywhere.
100%.
You-
The honeymoon is over.
It's the 3 month mark.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's
That's why I break up every 3 months. Just new honeymoon, new honeymoon, new honeymoon.
wow,
new
it's
honeymoon.
like we've dated. I'm just like, wow, I've noticed everything that's wrong here. I'm just going to abandon you now. I'll never respond ever again.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I think that we take authenticity for
Are you on a
granted.
honeymoon right now?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I'm just, I don't want to talk about that stuff on here. That's why I'm having guests. So y'all can do the talking and I can grow and be a better dude.
You know
what I
what's
mean?
one of my life rules?
What?
Like I love what makes it worth it for me is I like to like reinvent myself
Mm.
and I like learning new things.
Yeah.
So like and then I guess also an additional rule if we could say it, like the things that I'm like here's a rule. No. I don't trust anyone that's like hijacking knowledge for money.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't trust you. What? Just tell me the fucking answer. I think it's really weird the way the medical system works because it's like, I could cure you, but you don't have the right insurance.
Yeah.
I'm like, go fuck yourself. Just tell me what it is. Is it milk of magnesia?
That's it. That's the cure-all.
He's
The
like, damn
end.
it. Ah.
I knew it.
Wait, and I want to go back because it is y'all are telling great stories and being vulnerable. Yes, there is somebody I like to answer your question. But that's all I'll say at this time. But I don't want to like be effusive because it's better not to be. I'm trying to be vulnerable. I'm trying to like connect with people and be authentic. I think one of the things that's held me back in this city and in life forever is not only being an introvert, and an overthinker, but also not knowing myself well enough to be authentic. So I give off what I feel like is a weird vibe. And if I feel that way, then they're going to feel that way just because I feel that way, whether it's true or not. And then I overthink that weird vibe. And then I'm like, oh, they think I'm weird. And then I just stay home.
Okay.
Know
I
what I'm
don't think
saying?
you're, I mean, like, I've
No,
never
I don't get
gotten-
that. I don't.
Not
that's not what
now. I'm saying like my first 5 years here, I struggled
Yeah.
because I didn't know who to talk to. I thought everyone was using me, or I felt like they thought I was using them because I didn't know how to connect and just be a friend.
You had hot girl syndrome.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
such a hot girl when I got here.
It happens.
It happens.
It's safe. You're safe here now.
Thank you so much.
Don't worry.
Just a basic bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hot girls.
Getting drinking coffee with your
That's it. That's what hot girls do.
With your
They meet up with
lady.
each other and drink coffee, and then somebody else pays for those coffees.
Yeah.
yeah.
I love it. Couldn't be happier. That is every Real Housewives. Yeah, I'm all about it. Okay. Anyway, enough about me. There was more. Is there any more? Is there anything? Do you have any more stories about why life rules? Do you want to share a crazy story or two before we get out of here?
I mean,
Crazy story or two.
I don't
Or-
know. I can't. You know what I mean? It's hard because it's like easy when we're
Do you have a sober story that's really fun and really crazy?
I'm always high.
'Cause, like,
well, I had a
Yeah,
serial
you all
killer
smoke
last
weed.
summer.
Okay, yeah, let's end on that.
Oh, the serial killer guy.
So during the pandemic,
Love
this guy
him.
started messaging me on Twitter, and he would ask me for used shoes and,
And
sanitary napkins. And look. Here's the thing. I'm like, understand capitalism, and I was like, $1,000 for shoes, $1,000 for blood, because I live in the future and I use a period cup or a disc or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to mail you a bag of my blood, sir. And it was just not what he wanted to hear.
I don't think the U.S. Postal Service lets you
I don't
that.
think it's legal. No, I don't think it's legal to send bags of your blood. But like, I would figure for the right
try to
price,
send you
I'll
some.
send anybody a bag of my blood. You know what I mean? I'm like, you want to send me $1,500? Let's do blood.
How big's the bag for 1,500?
It
Ziploc?
probably
Ziploc?
you could be a regular Ziploc sandwich size bag.
Okay,
You
I
know
just
what I
wanna
mean?
know what I'm
But
getting.
then I would like take that thing that seals everything. I would vacuum seal it. I'd be like, "You're
Nice.
getting some blood. Don't worry." But I told him no. Basically, I told him no because I told him it was $1,000 each, and he got mad, and we like kind of argued about it. And I was like, "I'm not the fucking freako fucko who's asking for shoes and pads here. If for supply and demand,
Yeah.
go find somebody else to give this to you for fucking free. If you want mine, it's $1,000. Get fucked." So he blocked me. But then he would unblock me periodically and be like, "I'm still thinking about your feet." And I was like, "Okay, well, I can't do much about that." And I do have a wiki feet, which I didn't realize. My old supervising producer at a job of mine was like, you're all over the internet and you never are wearing shoes. It's a reason I wear slippers in every photo now.
Okay, now I'm
Because-
getting it because you do fit pics and you're always covered.
Right. So
Yeah.
like my feet were out, and like I was just like, there were lots of feet, and I don't wear shoes often. So like it was like a meeting of the insane shit. Anyways, he goes away for a while, and then one day I was like walking. I live near the lake of Silver Lake, which is really just a pit with water in it. But I was walking around it, and my phone is blowing up, and somebody's like texting me and calling me from like a weird number, but it's like a fake number. You know, when you call it back, it like nothing happens. But it's like it's like threatening me for immediately brings up the shoes, and I was like, I know who this is. This is God. What the fuck was his name? Do you remember? It was like Jesse or something like that, like a young skater name. He is a young skater from Washington.
Okay.
And he starts like using these services to get fake phone numbers and messaging me. But eventually he starts calling and messaging my mom and my brother. So his whole scam, what he would do is he would like get your elderly parent to think that it's you. He would text them like, "Oh, it's Sabrina. Like I'm locked out of my email. If you can go into your email and
he messaged my mom.
he did message my mom. He tried to get
Wow.
her, but Gia was with her. So Gia's like, "Don't listen to that."
Yeah, I was like, give me the phone.
Yeah, she
Let me
really
talk to this guy.
She really yelled at him.
Yeah.
I had yelled at him
Whoa.
too, but he was immediately blocking me. Anyway, so this goes on for a while, and some time goes by, and then I get an Instagram from this account that says it's a Washington State police officer, and to contact them about this guy. And I was like, do you think it's this guy pretending to be this
we
guy?
need pictures of your feet to match up with evidence. Yeah, totally.
And so I have a third party, like an attorney, call this what turns out to be a real cop, and he's like, okay, well, like eventually I get on the phone with him, and he's like, you're one of 62 women that he's been doing this to. He has like a real serial killer profile. When they arrested him, he had a bag of used women's shoes and used sanitary napkins and pads and tampons and things, and he would just carry them around with him like a little hobo. Like, dude,
for real.
Gross. The cop was just like, if you can prove that he tried to do this to you and your mom, like,
oh, and I had proof because I had gone in on him through the fucking text messages.
Sure.
Like in my mom's phone, and then I had done it through like a Google number where I was like, I know exactly who you are and where you are. And he was like, wow, how do you know this? And I was like, because I'm you. Freaks him out. But yeah, he had admitted to certain things. I was like, here's screenshots.
Yeah. So I sent them to the police officer. It was really interesting because he's like, well, we can give you a lifetime, what's it called? A restraining order.
Yeah.
If you can prove that you're a part of this. But also, like, he has the real makings of a serial killer because, like, he's a collector. He had, like, done this to these women that he had known since high school. And, like, he got their parents to give the password and lock the parents out of all their accounts and then was torturing the women from the parents' accounts and all of their shit. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a brilliant con from a guy that probably had an 8th grade education that could just had figured out how to do this. Except for he wasn't able to, like, figure it out with me. I was like always one step ahead. Like when he shut down all of his other accounts, I figured out what his PlayStation and his
he had a Twitter.
It started on Twitter, but he blocked me on that immediately.
Oh, like his video game handles?
Yeah,
and
I put that online, and a bunch of fucking nerds just like destroyed him on all of his video game channels where he had to shut that shit down too. You know what I mean? I'm like, you can fight back if you're pissed off enough. But yeah, like that's like the regular, now the weird stuff happens to me. I'm like experiencing life in a way, in a sober-ish way because I smoke weed. But like it's still where I'm just like, you'll never guess what happened this week. And I really didn't even talk about it at the time because it's so weird to be like, yeah, probably a serial killer, definitely a stalker though, you know, like
damn, that's wild. That's a good way to end. Give us plugs, plug everything. And I'm gonna plug this podcast is a part of my YouTube special, also called Life Rules. Go to Glazer Boo Hoo Hoo, check out my special, leave a like, leave a comment. If you can share it on your social media, that'd be amazing. My goal is 10,000 views. That's what I want on my YouTube special, and I'd love for this podcast to do really well as well. So thank you for being here. What about your plugs?
I produce and book Jodie Sweetin's comedy show called Family Dinner. We're a monthly. If you follow me, I always post about it. I produce a mental.
No, follow you where?
Oh, on everything, I'm at Sabrina SEE, but TikTok, because some motherfucker got that. And that's why I'm like, fuck TikTok. I don't even have the handle that I want. I'll never use it. I'm so mad. But on everything, I'm at Sabrina SEE. And I produce a mental health podcast. You'd be great on it if you want to do it. But it's like with this LMFT, who's a somatic healer and somatic therapist.
Yeah.
So it's like learning, I think you're doing this already, but learning how you feel in your body as to what that really means versus like what your reaction to things are. So it's really interesting working on that project because she's always dealing with people who are like, here's how to fix your life. And it's like every week I'm like, this is what I'm dealing with. God damn it.
That's awesome. What's the name of that podcast?
It's called Laid Open, LAIDOPEN.
Cool.
And there's other shit. I'm always working on stuff with my friends. If you're my friend, work on stuff with me. Come on down to the Workout Factory.
Mm-hmm. Gia.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere at the Gia Monster. That's OnlyFans. That's Instagram. That's Twitter, even though I don't want to be there anymore. And like every time I open Twitter, I'm looking at someone's fucking open butthole. And I'm like, shouldn't that be mine? Like,
Right, but that
it's
ain't
too
free.
much. It's
don't
too
don't
much.
do free butthole.
I don't do free butthole.
Yeah, don't.
I don't do free butthole, but like there's a lot of free butthole on Twitter. It just turned into like a real butthole place.
Yeah. No free shoes, no used pads.
No free content. So there it is. Go find us. I'm also on Facebook, but I don't think you should know my last name.
Okay.
You can, but you won't find us on there because I don't use my last name anymore.
This is anti-plugs now. Let's go.
Don't follow me on Facebook at Gia.
Okay, that's good. We're done. That's good.
Bye.
Thank you both so much.